poshest thing that you've done this week?
Steve, I spent some time with my quite posh cousin, whose name I don't know if I should say fully on air.
Please.
Her surname is Loxton Peacock.
Of course it is.
Jennifer is her name. She's a very, very close friend of mine, a cousin. And, well, she gave me something this week that I'm quite proud of. And it's a menu from Langan's restaurant. You know Michael Caine's restaurant?
Right.
It's a menu from Langan's with a drawing by David Hockney at the top. And it's signed by Michael Caine.
Wow.
And do you know who it was signed for? The Duchess of Manchester.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a Duchess of Manchester.
Well, funnily enough, her husband, the Duke of Manchester, was wandering around the House of Lords on the kind of 2 occasions he voted there, and overheard someone saying, "I didn't know there was one." So that's, you know, obviously the same thing comes back round all the time for the Manchesters.
And the Duke and Duchess, are they close personal family friends?
They were good friends of my cousins, and they were all sitting in Langham together, and they saw Caine at the other table. So the Duchess of Manchester said, "Hello, I'm Duchess of Manchester. Would you sign my menu?" And now I own the menu.
That's magnificent.
I may put it on eBay, I may not.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
so posh.
Thanks.
I mean, I have to just say to people, I did not prime Rufus on that. I really did just ask him what's the poshest thing that's happened this week, and that's what he's come up with. It's absolutely extraordinary. Julia's told me in the past that these opening links are too long, so guys, I will ask you for your interesting, and I bet there's nothing that you can even come close to that after you've heard some more music. I just will say that there's an awful lot of people in the studio this week, and I suddenly come to my mind that it reminds me a little of The Apprentice. So, based on your quality of contribution to this week's show, right, at the end of it, I'll bring you all back. One of you will be fired. From the current album Sky Blue Sky, that's Wilco and Hate It Here. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Stephen Merchant. We've already been reintroduced to the super posh Rufus, and we thank you for joining us. Also, of course, Harry and Dan. Harry works in a bank. That's all you need to know about him. That's the most interesting thing about him.
That's what I am.
But what's the most interesting thing that's happened to you this week?
Well, I went to Wembley this week, Steve. I went on Friday. It was actually my second trip to the new Wembley already. I went to the one of the playoff games last weekend. I've been to 2 games now, and I've missed 2 goals. First game, I had to go for a slash, and one of those £5 hot dogs,
Sure.
and missed a goal. And the England-Brazil game, getting home's a nightmare, so I left 3 minutes early, missed a Brazil goal. I should have stayed and watched it on the telly. It was rubbish.
Thinking?
I know.
I've only ever been to one football game. It was in Rio de Janeiro. Thanks very much. Like the jet setter. And it was a mediocre game, but I obviously enjoyed the experience. What's the new Wembley like? How can you describe it to us?
It's good. It's big, and you can get lots of people in. And it's quite. It's got lots of toilets, which is.
You
why
know
I
we
spent
have
so
an
much
audience
time
that's
enjoying
not made up entirely of 5-year-olds.
No, it's very good. As you walk down from Wembley Park Tube Station, it looks absolutely incredible. And having been in the daytime and at night, it's more spectacular at night when the arch lights up. It just looks wonderful. It's a great experience. If anyone gets tickets or anything, it's a grand day or night out.
Thank you very much, Dan. Have you got anything to even begin to compete with Rufus and Harry's experiences this week?
I wouldn't have thought so, but I did manage to inadvertently get myself a profile on a social networking site that you get out on the internet these days.
Can you name it? Or
I'm not sure if I can. I don't know BBC rules. Well, it's Facebook anyway.
No, I don't know about Facebook. I don't understand what this is. If you told me, I don't know what it means.
Someone said to me, get on it. It's a great way to massively check out women, and they don't know you're looking at them.
Sure.
So I thought, I'm in for a bit of that. Okay. But what I didn't know is that the very, very simple registration process actually sets you up a page.
Right.
So I'm now starting to acquire friends. They're writing things on my profile. I'm not entirely happy about it, and I feel that I've sort of extended myself. I've put myself out there in a way that I don't want.
When you say that they're writing comments and so on, are these complete strangers who are looking at your photo and judging you based on it?
I haven't even got a photo.
There's not a photo on there?
No, they're just going on the name so far. littletinydan.com if you wish.
But has anyone put 2 and 2 together and realised it's the same Dan from BBC Six Music's The Steve Show?
Well, not yet, but I'm sure that'll pick up quite soon. But to be honest with you, Steve, I'm uncomfortable. I want out. So if Facebook are listening, I want my profile deleted, because I don't see a delete button on there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm worried I'm going to get sucked into a whole world of cyber friends and message groups and you know, specialist interest groups that perhaps I suddenly find myself intrigued by. And
when you say sucked in, of course, being so tiny, you can quite literally be sucked into that world.
It is a daily problem.
Tron.
Yes, like Tron, I could be sucked up by a vacuum back at the flat. Anything could happen to me, so it's a daily worry, and I don't need another threat of sucking coming my way.
Periodically, Steve, we do actually get emails from listeners who add you as a friend on Facebook, obviously not aware that you don't have the slightest clue what's going on.
I have no idea what it means. I still don't understand. I still don't feel that anyone has fully explained to me what this means. Why would I join Facebook? Who are the people getting in touch with me? Well, I don't. Dan's a member of it. He's shaking.
I don't really know, because I'm delving into a world which is clearly run by the children, and I don't like it.
Sure.
But
it upsets me.
the latest guy to email us was Jack Neal last Thursday, and you click on the link, and the email says that Jack has one friend. One wall post. So
Is that me?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we should become his friend if he's.
I don't know much about Facebook, but I know that he's a loser.
If you know,
he's only got one friend.
If you know anything about Facebook, if you can summarise it quickly in a useful paragraph, then Stephen with a ph.6music@bbc.co.uk. I have no idea what this means. I know it's all about the youth of today. I know that's what they're doing. Lily Allen's probably involved. I don't know, the Arctic Monkeys or something. I don't know. They're all on the interweb. So if you can tell me, then, because obviously I feel like I need to get down with the kids. That's very much what this show is about. I want to play a track now. Music nerds out there, get your little notebooks out. I know you like a little piece of interesting music trivia. This track sold as a single 6 million copies. If you're a fan of Steve Lamac's Round Table, then you may want to stay tuned, because later we will be shamelessly ripping off that particular feature when we do our own jukebox jury of sorts and preview some tracks coming up that I've discovered in the Pigeonhole.
That promo there related to Steve Lamac doing some sort of physical activity.
Surely not.
Has anyone seen him lately? I can't imagine him doing anything.
That wasn't Lamac on the roof of a truck surfing, was it? That was surely a friend.
Oh,
or
good,
acquaintance.
good. I
Some
imagine.
rock and roll acquaintance.
Yeah.
They said that they invented it, but I'm sure, wasn't that in Teen Wolf? I'm sure in the movie Teen Wolf he surfs on top of a van. I think you'll find that Michael J. Fox invented that. And now, of course, in recent weeks we've been seeking out a she-J, a regular female contributor to the show, because, I mean, perhaps this is a reason why I should get on Facebook, but I just don't know enough women. And so we've been seeking out someone who's got both a passion for music and also an ability to speak coherently. And we've had various people, all of whom have been excellent, but, you know, in a sense there can only be one winner, although, of course, they're all winners for taking part. And obviously, when our winner can't make it, then I'm sure we'll bring in some of the others as well. But in a sense, we've got to nominate a winner, and I'm pleased to welcome back, it's Sammy. A lot of people are saying that she was a tough act to follow. Other people are saying, don't remember who she was. Sammy, welcome back. You are from, the only important fact to remember is that you're from up north. You're probably the most northern person in the room. Newcastle, is that right?
Newcastle is right, yes. Well, technically Northumberland. I don't know why I'm saying you're right. Northumberland.
Okay, and you know, it's been a while since we last saw you. We embarrassed ourselves last week when we had one of your favourite bands ever on, and we failed to ask you down. I don't even know why it didn't cross our mind. Be honest with you, I didn't even realise they were going to be on, to be honest, Sammy. I was too busy with other stuff. I had BAFTAs in my head and stuff, and so I forgot. So I would have certainly summoned you down. Did you come down on the megabus or the train?
On the train. Well, I have had a few megabus journeys recently. Yeah, they're not good. They seem to have actually got worse.
Really?
With the heat. It's mind-boggling how hot it can get on a bus that has no air conditioning.
The megabus doesn't have air conditioning, I guess.
It does, but I've never been on one where it works.
Sure. But if they had air conditioning, that would crank it up to 75p a trip, I imagine. And I like to ask these gentlemen, what's the most interesting thing that's happened to you since we last spoke?
Oh, since we last spoke, that's vast. I had a car crash.
What?
Yeah, and it wasn't my fault, and I'm really relieved that my first ever car accident wasn't my fault, because that would have been terrible, considering I passed first time. But there's a big beastly man in a white van.
I love the fact, you're quite young, aren't you? I love that that's still a big thing in your life. It's still, you know, there comes a point where you have to let that go, and how many GCSEs you've got. You've got to just let it go.
11. Yeah, so this horrible big beastly man in a big beastly van crashed into the back of my tiny little dinky car, and I was shaking terribly, and when I got out he came and he said, "Are you alright?" And I went, "I'm fine, I just need a hug." This man had damaged my car, but I cuddled him. I just needed to hold somebody, and then I was fine.
And did, you know, has some romance blossomed, maybe? Because I'm picturing him like Grizzly Adams for some reason, and he's giving you a hug there, and you look into each other's eyes. Perhaps he's only got one. The other one's been clawed out by a bear. And you know, are you friends? Is he now on your Facebook page?
He was ruddy of face and null of tooth, so not really my kind of man. But he was dead sweet, bless him. He admitted blame immediately, which is good for me because then I get the insurance. But yeah, he did give me a cuddle and he wasn't too scared, so that's nice.
That's very, very sweet indeed. One of the reasons, of course, that we have you back on the show is not only your sparkling personality, but the fact that you bought a cake. That's, we thank you for that. But also, you brought in a track for us as well to have in your week too.
I have, yes, and I keep calling it Salvation Trampoline, which is ridiculous. It would be better. Duke, are you listening? But it's called Salvation Tambourine, and it's by Duke Special.
Okay, let's hear it. Duke Special, Salvation Tambourine, the choice of she-J Sammy. Another round of applause, please, for Sammy. Not only has she got a keen wit, but also obviously excellent music taste, as we can tell from there. There is a prize, Sammy. for being the She-J, right?
Does I like the fact you're opening your wallet?
Right, it's £20, but, right, there's a crisp £20 from my wallet, you'll notice, right? But there is a caveat.
Wow.
There is a
Seen
caveat.
that wallet before.
There is a caveat, okay? You have to spend it by choosing something from the Argos catalogue. Because I'm a massive fan of Argos, and there are, of course, many other major high street, shops available. But Argos is one of my favourites, and I've had a look through that catalogue. There's not much that you can get for 20 quid, but you could get some fishing tackle, you could get a Fred Flintstone fancy dress costume, or some kind of cat scratching post.
Are these the choices I'm limited
Those are
to?
some of the choices you can get,
right.
but obviously we need to know by the end of today's show what you'll be spending that crisp brand new £20 note on.
It's a new one.
Spanking.
In the Argos catalogue. And
Dad,
then the
it's a new one. Have you seen one? They're amazing.
I know these haven't actually made it up north yet.
Not
but,
yet.
But one day, I don't know. They're kind of. It's a bit like the way that we get movies first in London. So yeah, there it is. We've got Adam Smith on the back there, and Her Majesty on the front. Take that and mark the page in that Argos catalogue, and then by the end of the show, we want to know what you're going to buy from it. And obviously, next time you're in, we'll expect you to bring it, so we can see that you did indeed buy it. Plus the Argos receipt. I don't want any.
You don't want me
I
spending
want you
this
to
on
go down
crack
the
or
market
anything,
and getting
right?
something knocked off and then pocketing the change. So there you are. A round of applause. We're
you
just
very
trying to squeeze
much.
in before these. Have we got time to try and squeeze in? We're just choosing our cover choice for this week. Harry, give it to us.
Mr. Cover.
Robert Wyatt doing his version of the Monkees' I'm a Believer. We have to go to the news after that, back with Pulp, plus we got listener choice and also selections from the Pigeonhole. Back after the news. From His and Hers, the album that also gave us Babies, and the reason I mention that is because one of my first TV appearances was on Glastonbury, 1994, and a friend of mine spotted me in the crowd singing along to Babies, and obviously they could identify me even on the TV because of my gargantuan size. I towered Godzilla-like above everyone else that was enjoying them, and I was also one of those cricket
Floppy white hat, yeah.
And I was singing along, and probably didn't know the lyrics. Probably, if you look at it now, deeply embarrassing. It's like, oh, babies, some babies, whatever it would have been. But yeah, no, it was one of my first appearances, and obviously we will be returning to Glastonbury and doing the show from down there. And we're not entirely sure yet what we will be able to provide for you. We'd love to get some bands to perhaps play some tunes, but obviously I don't want to make any promises because we've let you down many times in the past. And obviously we also discovered a couple of weeks back that Dan unfortunately won't be able to come. It was very much a lottery. Plus, obviously he was unsure that he could make it, which means that both Rufus and Harry will be going down with me. And a lot of people have been saying, Steve, are you going to be slumming it like the Oiks? And I'm going to say to you now, no, of course not. I'm above that now. I've risen above that, and obviously naturally I will be staying in, I would trust, some kind of BBC paid for 5-star hotel.
What about me and Ruth?
Well, thanks for mentioning that, Har, because I was thinking about that, and although there probably is room for you to share a tiny little single bed in
Eric and Ernie.
Yeah, in a Holiday Inn or an Ibis. Although that is probably a possibility, I'm thinking it'd be more fun if you went down in a tent. I think it'd be more fun if you and Ruth slummed it in a tent.
No.
No, wait. Just think about this, okay? You two guys, right, in a single tent.
No.
Just to add a little bit of intrigue to it, because we want to see if, think about now how there's endless reality TV, and it's always about prodding and poking people to see if they'll snap and explode. Okay, I'm thinking you two guys, super posh Rufus, probably got quite an elaborate, camping equipment. He'll have 3 Batmen with him carrying, trunks.
We'll have the ironing tent.
The ironing tent, the dressing tent, and the letter writing home tent. And obviously, whereas Harry will just turn up with, a couple of those pens that you get in banks. The little chain. Little chain of pens.
I love those. I love trying to get the chain back into the pen when it's quiet. I tend to do that quite a lot.
Do that in the tent when I'm out watching The Killer.